So we wanted the Just Like Us ambassadors to come in and speak to our students so that they could be that role model and share their lived experiences. And I think for our own students to hear personal stories from somebody who aren't that much older from them is really important for them to be able to look up to somebody and understand the journey that some people can go on, and that they can be allies to that, as well as if they're thinking along those lines, they can see that it's not as scary as it might have been.
We really wanted Just Like Us ambassadors to come in and provide a talk to our students, because we know that it's an issue that our students are passionate about, whether or not they're a part of the LGBT+ community. And it's also a topic that we know that some of our staff members aren't always that comfortable or even knowledgeable about speaking on. So we know that having ambassadors from Just Like Us means that students get first-hand experiences that they can really relate to from people that are young, that have shared similar experiences to them, and that's something that I think has been incredibly valuable.
It's really lovely to be here. My name is Aoife, my pronouns are she, her, I'm 20 and I'm bisexual.
And my name is Alexa, I use she, they pronouns, I'm 24 and I'm a lesbian.
So like we said, we're from a charity called Just Like Us, and we're here today to talk to you about being LGBT+ and how to make your school a better and more inclusive place for everybody in it.
I grew up in Cambridge, in the east of England, as the middle child of 3 boys to my parents who are both Muslim Bangladeshi immigrants. And over time, over sixth form, as I met more people and I talked to more people, I read about being LGBT+ and the community, I just grew in confidence and I grew to accept and love myself.
Identity can change, it's very fluid and it can shift and morph over time, but as long as you're comfortable with yourself, that's the most important thing.
I think this talk has left me feeling inspired. I think I'm inspired to help others out more. I'm inspired to be more aware of the things that I'm saying and how I can help others. I think it was great that a lot of them were quite young as well, so they were able to relate their experiences to similar aspects of life that we're currently going through.
I think growing up is already something that is quite hard to navigate, and if you add in figuring out, your identity, your gender identity, or sexuality, that can be daunting things. And I think that the presentation today really highlighted the key stuff that they dealt with. I love how they gave their personal stories and they addressed intersectionality, and it really did inspire me to be a strong support system for those around me.
This is the big question that a lot of people struggle to answer. Can you be LGBT+ and religious? Well, of course you can, because it's another thing that is absolutely personal to your identity. So you might identify as a lesbian, you might be non-binary, you might have a faith, and you absolutely can maintain it if you decide to come out, if that's your choice.
It's often this misconception that being LGBT+ is mostly a white thing, or that you don't see it in communities of colour or faith. You can absolutely be LGBT+ and be either religious or a person of colour.
I think when the Just Like Us ambassadors were talking about faith, it was quite inspirational, because it can be hard to come out to people because you may be unsure whether you're going to be accepted or not.
So you might be wondering, well, how do I know if somebody's LGBT+? Well, you don't, unless they tell you. And it's also important to remember that it's not our business to know. So it's not something that we have to know about a person. If they do share that with you, that's fantastic, because clearly they trust you enough to share a very personal part of themselves.
I think having a Just Like Us talk is a really important way of helping everybody within the community to feel accepted and for everybody to understand each other's differences. And it's a really strong message to the student body that their thoughts and their feelings, their emotions are valued, and that we don't all treat them the same, we don't treat them like robots, that we want them to feel comfortable where they are and that they can learn from each other.
Overall, the talk has left me feeling more open-minded. I was already accepting to the community, because it's just right, but because they were able to define more terms that I weren't quite aware of, I feel like I know how to be more accepting of a friend to somebody who is on that journey or part of that community. And I feel like I could be a better ally to those that feel like they're alone and isolated.
The talk has left me feeling very proud of myself and being who I am. It's made me realise I'm not alone, and I really, really love that.
But I want you to remember that there's no one way to be LGBT+. We come in all colours, shapes and sizes.
I would say if you're another secondary school thinking of having a talk by Just Like Us, then absolutely do it, 100%. It's going to supplement what you do in the classroom, it's going to be an added benefit to your curriculum, and the students will get to see real life people talking about their stories, which is something that we can't always offer in the classroom.
Yeah, I think other schools should definitely do this. Because it's not really something that you can avoid, and I feel like a talk like this from specifically someone or a group of people that are actually part of the LGBT+ community helps you to understand, because when they talk about their experiences and journey, you also realise, oh, that could be similar to mine, oh, other people have experienced this before.
I think other schools should definitely have these kind of talks because, I mean, in my 17 years, I've never really had like the comfortable space to open up and talk about these kind of things.
I would absolutely recommend it because I feel like having an ambassador share their experiences with students is something that's completely invaluable.